Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. I got to tell you, I'm stressing out over the Philadelphia Eagles and what they're doing. I think I said after the Super Bowl, and I actually meant this, that they, at the moment, when I watched what they did in the Super Bowl to Kansas City, and when I think about what they have done as far as building that roster and continually adding talent to it, they are the 90s Cowboys. Now, I don't know how long that's going to stay together. Maybe that it turns to mush this year. But what they continue to do is continue to keep reloading with talent. And as I look at them, you know, you can look at this and say, they've got a young core group of guys. You know, when they go through and they end up signing Landon Dickinson after 3 years this year. You got Jalen Hurts, who's still in the prime of his time. You know, you got Saquon, who is getting a little bit longer in the tooth, and it's probably going to be good for another 2 or 3 years. You've got a group of guys that will continually be there together and continue to grow. They've had more of a long-term view when they bring in players. The players aren't necessarily a one-year rental. When they went out and they got A.J. Brown, they looked at that not as, let's get somebody cheap that'll get us through for a season or two. They looked at it and said, here's going to be our number one receiver, and thus far have made great use of him for the 3 years he's been there. But you look at him and say, he's going to be there for a few more years. The short-sightedness of the Cowboys, where we don't want to pay a whole lot for this muffler, scares me and makes me wonder if we can ever have a chance to catch up to them. And see, you have to understand the difference here is and how the Eagles are able to do it. Because, you know, when we saw, of course, day one of free agency last year, you know, they're adding Saquon Barkley and all the players that they've added. It's like we see them doing these things, and yet we can't seem to pay CD and Dak and Micah Parsons, and we're always told we can't afford it. Honey, I'm going to be done in a couple minutes. You can go back to your show. The thing is, this is what the Eagles have done. And let me pop this up on the chart here and we can show you. This is the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is not this year's cap number. This is 2029, okay? 4 years from now. Here's where the Eagles are in, Okay. Here's where the Eagles are 4 years from now. $294 million in cap. Not cap space, as in $294 million in cap spending. They've kicked all this stuff down the road. When you start looking at it and saying Jalen Hurts, $97 million hit, Lane Johnson, $22 million cap hit. You look at A.J. Brown, $29 million cap hit. You look at Jordan Mailata, $35 million. It adds up. But the thing is they've been actually, let me pull it up more so you can see it. They've actually gotten it structured where they get rid of the guaranteed money. So if they do move on him, Jalen Hurts will be a zero dead money hit. They'll save $97 million. Lane Johnson, $4.7 million hit if he ends up not being on the roster there. A.J. Brown, $5.7. And the thing about this is you could look at this and say, oh, my God, they're going to be in cap hell. Maybe, but probably Saquon Barkley isn't on the roster anymore by 2029. But the dead hit will only be $3 million. See, they've stretched it out, the contract's out so far that, yes, they're going to owe a lot of money in 2029, but they look at it and they say, we've got this window now of Jalen Hurts, of A.J. Brown, of, you know, a Lane Johnson, a Dickerson, a Cam Jurgens, and we're going to try and keep this group together for the next 3-4 years and continue to win, and will continue to keep kicking it off on here. To give you a different example here, let's look at the Cowboys in that same year, in 2029. We don't have a long-term vision here, guys. Look at this. In 2029, the only people that have a contract is Dak, CD, and Osa Digizua. And we only owe $42 million. Now, you tell me, which is the right way to do this? Is it the Cowboys way that says, hey, we're not going to owe a whole lot of money down the road? We're not going to owe a whole bunch of money down the road. But the Eagles, they're going to Super Bowls and winning. You tell me, as I sit there and I look at that Eagles roster, and I look and I see that Jalen Hurts is sewed up, Lane Johnson is sewed up, A.J. Brown is sewed up, Jordan Mailata is sewed up, Dallas Goedert will probably be gone, Devontae Smith, he's sewed up. You've got everybody literally locked up. Saquon Barkley, Landon Dickinson, Cam Jurgens. They've got all of their guys locked up, ready to be there for the next 3-4 years. Now, that's not to say that some of these are void years where they've kicked that money down the road. As a Cowboy fan, if we don't start learning how to compete and start realizing this is a way that we can keep more talent, this whole thing is really kind of depressed me as far as wide receiver goes. That we're sitting here literally hyping up an undrafted rookie free agent like he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver. I'm tired of hearing the Ryan Fenoy is going to be the next Dez Bryant. I'm tired of hearing about Jalen Brooks is as good as Jalen Tolbert. He's looking fantastic. I'm sick and tired of us doing the hype game for guys that aren't great players. How about we just go out and instead of just getting a couple of players here and saying, oh, we're going to be good with these guys, we literally go out and get somebody good. And we can do the same thing the Eagles do. I wouldn't have a problem if the Cowboys went all in and actually said, hey, let's get DJ Moore over here. Hey, let's go get another great defensive tackle to go in there. Hey, let's get another stud here. And it ended up being that down the road, we maybe have to cut some other people and rebuild. If we're winning, I think most Cowboy fans, after 29 years of doing the same thing, of penny pinching and not winning shit, would be more than happy to try that. Yeah, the Eagles are playing 3D chess. And we're playing tiddlywinks. Not checkers, tiddlywinks. And it makes me sick to my stomach to say that the Eagles, they found the secret sauce. They're doing things the way a team that's trying to win is. And the Cowboys, yeah, they've gotten better. They're changing the culture. They're changing the culture in the locker room, but we need to change the culture in the front office. Because as long as we continue to do the same thing we're still doing here, waiting on Micah Parsons, waiting to do Tyler Smiths and Deron Bland, we're going to wait because we don't want to make a mistake. The Eagles made a mistake on Carson Wentz, and they got out of that thing. They made a mistake on Bryce Huff. Didn't stop them from winning a Super Bowl, though, did it? Instead of worrying about what I might do or a mistake I might make, you're taking more time and you're making the mistake that much bigger. We have got to learn from these things. Hey, I was always taught if you're going to F up at full speed. So that way you can move on and fix the mistake. We'll definitely be talking about this more in about an hour and a half at our live stream. I hope you guys join us. But it bothers me just seeing right now the Cowboys, they're satisfied that, hey, we had a great draft. We're going to do great things with our draft class, and we're good. That's not going to get it done, y'all.
Can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here.
Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get out.
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
Yourself.